really speak up if they can.
So we should start over.
Probably
My name is
water
Bill
on the
Riley.
record.
I represent Eastwood Homes. With me is Susan LeDoux, who is the Director of Planning for Eastwood Companies, and she's going to make the presentation.
We were here in March, and the board approved the subdivision, the preliminary subdivision, on March 27th. And again, we have an 8.5 acre parcel with 433 feet of frontage on Orleans Road. We have 8 building lots proposed, and it's a grid or conventional grid subdivision, which means that the lots are a minimum of 40,000 square feet in size with 150 feet of frontage. The proposed cul-de-sac road is 900 feet in length. We're in the RR zone and the Zone 2 or Water Resource District. The setbacks on each lot, building setbacks, are 25 feet front and 20 side and rear, and we will conform to those when we propose homes. And we have the required sidewalk on the right side of the road going to the cul-de-sac from Orleans Road. The lots meet the shape requirement as required. The planning board approved the preliminary on March 27th. We have a 50-foot wide subdivision road. We're not requesting any waivers from the planning board's rules and regulations. The site distance of the subdivision road where it intersects with Orleans Road is adequate. Bascomb Hollow is the road name proposed. The Board of Health approved the definitive plan on May 14th with conditions. The drainage calculations, the structures proposed are more than adequate for the subdivision road of this size. The groundwater impact report indicates that the proposed development or subdivision results in a nitrogen recharge concentration of about 4.8 parts per million, where the U.S. EPA drinking water standard is 10 parts per million. And I believe that's all I have for the presentation.
Okay. Charlene,
Yes, sir.
if you could read PB 2018-13, your comments.
My comments, yes. First, I'll go over comments from the different town departments. The engineering department and the town surveyor. The town engineer raised several items in a memo dated April 26, 2018. Those items have been addressed by the applicant. Further comments included that the shape factor requirements have been met and that Lot 6 falls under the definition of a panhandle. Police had no concerns, building had no concerns, conservation had no concerns, fire had no concerns. Highway department, the only concern the highway department is that the road has an 8% slope. This is pretty steep for the road approaching an intersection with a collector road like Route 39 Orleans Road. Highway Department's ability to properly treat this road in snow and ice season to ensure public safety will be difficult. Cape Cod winters are not what they used to be, and the concern would be residents not being able to safely stop due to icy roads. The Health Department did review this application on May 14th. You do have a letter, which I believe we sent to each of you. Their letter reads as follows. At a meeting of the Board of Health on May 14th, 2018, a hearing was conducted to consider an application for environmental impact review in accordance with Board of Health Regulations 1.211. The applicant seeks approval of an 8-lot subdivision. The subdivision is located in the Groundwater Protection District, also referred to as a Zone 2, and is proposed to include 8 homes, each on 40,000 square foot lot with 4 bedrooms per home for a total of 32 bedrooms. The applicant is requesting to limit the development to 4 lots until such time as the connection to the municipal sewer takes place. The proposal is to construct a shared septic system to serve the 4 lots. The system will consist of a 6,000-gallon 2-compartment septic tank distribution box and a 1,824-gallon per day soil absorption system located on Lot 1. David Clark of Clark Engineering, LLC submitted the following documents to the Board of Health for consideration. 1, definitive division plan dated April 10, 2018 by Clark Engineering, LLC. 2, environmental impact report dated April 20, 2018. 3, groundwater impact report dated April 20, 2018. After considerable review and discussion, it was the decision of the board to approve the proposal with the following order of conditions. 1, the development is restricted to a maximum of 4 lots.
Excuse me.
The pollen, it's awful.
Yeah.
4 lots, 16 bedrooms, 1,760 gallons per day until such time as municipal sewer is available for use. Each lot is restricted to a maximum of 4 bedrooms. 3, in order to prepare for connection to municipal sewer, the waste line will exit the buildings on the street side. 4, the Board of Health will not consider any variances from Title V or Board of Health regulations for any of the lots. 5, the subdivision will be served by town water. This letter will be required to be recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds with a copy returned to the Board of Health. This shall be completed prior to the issuance of any construction and/or septic permits. Relative to my comments, any of the board conditions and requirements will need to be noted on the definitive subdivision plan prior to any endorsements. At this time, I have no concerns or comments. The plan is consistent with the rules and regulations. One final thing, which is not in my staff report, however, is based on the Board of Health letter of May 22nd. The board may also want to consider, this is kind of a belt and suspenders, within the covenant, restricting whichever 4 lots they're not going to be building on must be held in covenant until such time as the sewer is installed and the properties are, the sewer is available to those properties. Just so that there's that extra belt and suspenders. Those lots can't be released until such time as sewer is available. And that, I believe, is all I have.
Having said that, Joe?
Couple of questions. Can you comment about the 4 lots? You didn't say anything.
Well, we proposed that. I think the one,
You proposed the 4 lots, Bill?
we proposed limiting to 4 lots until the municipal sewer comes in.
Okay.
And the one concern I would have about Charlene's suggestion is that we don't know what 4 lots will be, because we have to put the entire road in, and so it all depends on, what the market, where the buyers want to be, as opposed to us knowing right now which lots we want to build on. So, candidly, we think there's sufficient protection from the recorded order of the Board of Health, but if there is a comment in your statement of conditions, we hope it would say simply that you can't build on more than 4 lots, rather than enumerating the lots.
And one last one. Why didn't you build 9 lots? Why did you leave the lot at the end of the street? It's built on, there's a house on there?
House and garage.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
And it's
you.
not, it's not part of the subdivision. Yeah,
I understand
yeah,
now. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
May I ask a
Yeah.
follow-up question, if I
Yes.
would? So, I understand what Attorney Riley is saying. Because it's going to be one septic system serving those 4 lots, and that's going to be located on Lot 1, are you going to tie each house as it's developed into that system, or do you have to do the system and the 4 building lots all at the same time? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
I really couldn't tell you. I mean, I think they're gonna use the sewer line as the collector pipe, so that it's gonna be in for the entire length of the road anyway.
We're putting the main in now, so we
Okay.
don't have to go back and do it when the sewer is installed out in Orleans Road. And as each of the 4 allowed houses are developed, they will feed into that main and.
So
yeah.
that if you, excuse me,
No, no.
if you do that, you can build on lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and use that sewer line?
Or 7, 8.
7, 8, 9.
Any of the 4
5 and
lots.
6.
They only
Yeah.
build a lateral in for when they build a
The
house.
sewer line is there. They
Yeah.
can build
I see now.
anywhere.
Tie in it, whatever it's on.
So
Joe,
the system will be such that if, and I understand they're not letting you do it, but the system will be put together in such a manner that you could tie in all 8 lots.
Right.
As soon as they come by, you just make the hookup for all 8 lots, and that's that.
Yeah,
As
okay.
I was just gonna say, as an example, Hidden Cove, or Crocker Eye subdivision, we, have 16 building lots out there, and we put in the community system. We were required to do that by the Board of Health. And as each lot has been built, it's been fed into that main sewer line, which goes to the community system at the front of the neighborhood. It will work the same way.
I'm of,
Yeah.
forever, whatever it's worth, I'm of a position to authorize you all 8. And I understand you still can't build on them because the health department won't let you. But,
Well, actually, see, just so you know, we were the ones who proposed limiting to 4 lots because we didn't want to build the enormous system
Right,
that would take care of all 8 lots.
It's economic.
So
Right.
that's why we
right,
proposed
I
it,
understand.
and we're happy with it, and,
yeah.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Jim?
Yeah, just sort of further clarification on this continuing issue. Is Bascomb Hollow Road going to be turned over to the town at any point?
not that I'm aware of.
The town has not been taking
Yeah.
roads.
Okay, so this is going to remain a private road.
Most likely.
And so what you're but the entire road will be developed, initially before you start selling off the lots?
Well, the road's gonna be installed for its full length.
For the full.
Whether we can sell lots before it's completed or not, is another
Okay,
story.
okay, well, actually, that was too technical, I'm sorry, Bill. And so the road is going to be developed with the sewer main in it, so that, when the town sewer main comes along Orleans Road, it can just connect directly, and that would connect all the lots in this subdivision?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Okay. David?
I see on the profile it shows the sewer line,
Yes.
but it doesn't show the septic system unless I'm missing it.
Well, the leach area is shown on the plan,
At the very
up at-
last page, I think.
on the page,
Page is that, 3?
I think it's page 3.
Page 6 of 7 and 7 of 7.
Yeah, the page is cut off on my copy, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
it's-
Sorry about
apologize.
that.
So
Oh, I
there's,
see. Okay.
yep.
I was looking on the site plan.
Right.
So when you connect to the municipal system, you will abandon the
Right.
local system?
Yes.
And just connect that main line to the municipal
system.
system?
Right, that's correct. That's the plan.
Okay,
Anyone else,
so-
anyone else from the board? Okay, any questions from the public?
Sir, may I speak?
Speak, right, come right up.
Excuse me.
And please be sure to give your name.
Absolutely. My name's Deb Schiavi, formerly Bascomb, so we can all tie in here to the property next door. The chairman is you, sir?
Yes.
I'm the abutter to the side piece from Route 39 out to Sadie's Way. When you're looking at the proposed new subdivision, I'm to the right of that. It's 408 feet of my property to abut the back of these 2 homes. It's been in the family for over 90 years. My grandfather had a gas station back in the 30s there. And then my dad put a cottage on there, and the kids, there's 6 of us, we grew up there, came every summer. And then over the years, my dad deeded over to my younger brother, Dean, who sold it to
Eastward.
Eastward.
Turn around and talk to the
It was
board.
a disappointment to the family. because we
Excuse
would
me.
like to have kept it in the family.
You're actually supposed to be
Can you
talking.
Oh,
talk
I'm
to the board?
sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
just stand over there, you can talk to everybody,
So
okay?
they can hear you too,
Oh, okay.
that'd be good.
There you go.
Want me to start again?
No, that's fine.
That's fine,
So
go right
you
ahead.
kind of get the gist of the story
We
here?
got it.
Okay, I'm the abutter next door. I'm the oldest daughter of Charles Bascomb. My grandfather was Earl, who owned the property back in the 1930s. And it's gone through the family for 90 years, and my brother sold it to Eastwood Companies late last year. It was a disappointment to the family that we couldn't keep it in the family, but we understand it is what it is. However, I believe about a year ago, the initial proposal to the town was a 5-lot subdivision with a 50-foot conservation setback along all the abutters, including Route 39. And I appreciated that take on that, that you would be able to have 50 feet off the current property line to enjoy. That 50-foot conservation thing is not in the new subdivision plans, and I would just like reconsideration of that to possibly be put in for consideration. And that's my input into the,
Can you tell us where you want to put that?
with the 50-foot conservation off the abutters property line,
Short on
The northerly line,
an orderly line.
northerly line.
That's my question.
Okay.
That's the northerly line, that's where you
Where's
want
that?
it.
Okay, it's the 408 feet on my side. It's this piece that goes back
Yeah,
here.
you're right here.
I'm back here, yeah, so it's from here to here. So the 50-foot conservation.
Probably everybody'd want
Yeah,
it too then.
yeah. That was the original, well, it wasn't, it was a proposed plan a year ago, that was to be considered for all the abutters that would be next to this new subdivision. And it was not in the new proposal, or the new,
You want to talk about the 5 lots first?
so that's why I'd just like to go on record with requesting that it be considered, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Right, sir?
Any other questions?
Sorry, I have to get next door, so I just wanted to, Julie Kavanaugh, I'm in a butter to the property, live on 5 Old Carriage Drive. Just had a couple questions about how we arrived at the acreage. I understand there was some owners unknown, and so we're at 8.55. I believe the original property was 6.33, and that ultimately must be, that's the difference in between the butters and the owners unknown, where the other, I think it's an acre and a half or so, or equals to 2 acres or so. So I'd like to be able to understand that piece of how the deed for that. The other thing is, I would agree with the previous comment, it'd be nice to have a 50-foot buffer. We have that in our subdivision. It provides for some privacy. A couple other things, comments would be that, I am concerned with the slope of the road and coming into 39. We have multiple cuts to the road there, and we already have, our subdivision. The post office has 2 entrances. We have Austin Road, we have Bay Road, and down the street we have the subdivision road going in, and plus the east path. And so there's multiple road things. I think we should just take a close look at that. And overall, one other question on the septic that would go at lot 1. Is that in the ground?
Yep.
So just a couple different concerns there about putting the subdivision in, and I understand perfectly the property rights don't need to, at least make them reduced when this, I understand that Mr. Marsh has his rights to the property. Just, collectively, it would be great if we could all have it done in a manner that's cohesive to both the subdivisions on the site, to whatever way the board would consider that. But I would like to better understand the acreage, and I have to go next door now, so I'll leave that to all of you. Thank you.
Could you answer the question on the acreage, Bill?
Well, yeah, sure. There was a competing property interest. Actually, there were overlapping claims between the Bascomb and the Phyllis Kendrick Trust owned several acres, I guess, west of us. As I said, there was some overlapping in the claim, so it made sense for us to resolve the overlapping claim by purchasing that property. The property had no frontage, no access, and so after some negotiation, they were happy to sell the additional acreage to us. Terry Warner is the registered land surveyor, professional land surveyor who did the plan, and she was confident of the area and put her stamp on the plan. So I don't know how else to address it. On the question of the 50-foot open space conservation area, I mean, as you know, better than most, that was original proposal was a cluster subdivision. Mr. Marsh decided that he thought in this area a better development would be full lot size development rather than the cluster. And so that's why we came to the decision not to apply for a special permit for a cluster subdivision.
And I believe at the preliminary stage, back in March, the board was extremely happy that we went with the grid subdivision versus the open space subdivision.
Which was a really not good plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Joe?
Can you talk a little bit about, and maybe that's part of what you were just speaking of, I just trying to, there's a lot on the bottom of the plan,
Yeah.
and it shows it as owners unknown?
Well, most of them are unknown.
It's not part of the subdivision.
I know that.
Okay.
I know that.
Part of the subdivision.
That isn't my question. Did you people chase that?
Well, we're still chasing it.
I got you. Okay.
So we don't have, yeah, we've reached an agreement with one owner, but he only owns a small part, so we're just trying to chase the other interests right now.
Over the years, as you well know, because you've been before us before, we deal with owners unknown any number of times. And usually what happens is when it appears to be buildable, owners all of a sudden begin to appear, but that hasn't happened
Yeah,
yet.
that has not happened, and the person we're dealing with has done years and years of research on the
The
property.
title person?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe someday we'll figure out a way to
Clear it.
resolve those issues, but right now, we don't.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Yes, step right up or stand up.
My name is Shirley Ginsburg. I live at 15 Old Carriage Drive. My property backs up to lot 7, and our backyard is in a part of the 50-foot buffer zone that we have. Now, my interest is when lot 7 is built on, whether there will be, I know there'll be the house would be facing the center, and there would be a 20-foot
Setback.
setback. But lot 7 really would come right up to the end of the buffer zone, right? Or to what's called the Old Carriage Route.
What is your name, ma'am?
Shirley Ginsburg.
Thank you.
She's one of the
Old Carriage
panhandle
Route.
I see it. Yeah.
And a very thin line there, path, and it looks like lot 7 is coming right up to that. I'm wondering too if there would be shrubbery, trees. Right now, our backyard is trees, basically, what we consider our back area. Of course, we don't own it. And I'm wondering what kind of trees would be planted there.
Mr. Ginsburg.
To block off that backyard from our backyard.
If I'm reading this plan correctly, and I don't take any pride in that, it appears to me that you have a 50-foot buffer zone behind your home, and then that buffer zone abuts the piece of land that I had just asked these folks about. You don't abut lot 7, you abut the owner's unknown piece. You're welcome to come up and look at this if you want.
I don't think so. I think I abut lots. Well,
No, ma'am.
yes, a piece of a very small piece of
A
the
little triangle.
tiny corner of the owner's buffer strip. You're right.
There's a buffer strip, and she also doesn't abut 7.
Well, this is 50 foot. This little triangle looks like it goes from about 75 feet down to almost nothing.
Yeah, I see it.
Can I have one more
Yep,
question?
go right ahead.
If the owner's unknown property is purchased, is able to be purchased but not built upon, would the builder use it to store things?
I think that's purely speculation. It would appear, I don't know the square footage of that, but I'm guessing it's probably big enough to be one lot. But we don't know.
And you have to have owners in order for somebody to take title to it.
Before us this evening.
No.
That piece of property is not a subject of tonight's hearing.
I would agree.
But just, but for whatever it's worth, it's a residential zone, it can't be used for storage of business materials. And all I can say was in response to her concern about what plantings there might be on Lot 7, Eastwood Homes, I believe, at least to my understanding, has a good reputation for the level of plantings they do put on a piece of property. And it's gonna come as a shock to some people, but they have as much concern about screening their property as the neighbors do, so.
And I think, Mrs. Ginsburg, first of all, you've got 50 feet behind the house until you get to the lot line. So that's not something that's going to be touched, so that is a pretty significant, yeah, it's a pretty significant buffer.
The people on Sadie's Way do not have any buffer.
Pardon me?
The people on Sadie's Way.
If somebody's talking, they need to.
Correct.
She needs to identify
Yeah.
herself.
So I'm Kristen Henyon, Sadie's Way. We're just looking for some sort of a buffer or a fence landscaping area to, describe our house.
We're 8 cities away, so lots 2 and 3 will be abutting that property. Basically,
I'm sorry, who?
my name is John Henry.
Huh?
Okay.
He has to identify himself.
You have to identify yourself,
Okay,
sir.
So it's the first time I've been to these meetings. Again, my name is John Hemian, I live at 8 Sadie's Way,
Okay.
and I'm just concerned about the buffer. Going down Route 3 today, I know it's not a relevant property, but that new division is down there, all the trees basically cut down to the lot line. So I was just hoping, if there's any way that something like that can be prevented. Well, every tree up to my lot line be cut down. So I only have like 20 feet from my house, 25 feet.
In the back of your home?
Yes.
Their property backs up
I
primarily
see it.
Lot 2 and
Yeah.
a little bit of 3.
Which one it is?
We really can't, that's not a determination we can make about the trees because that's not within our purview. But I think Mr. Riley pretty much answered your question and a few other people. Generally, Eastwood Homes has a pretty good reputation of screening their buildings from you and vice versa.
Right, I mean, again, the Sadie's Lane, Sadie's Way is presumably full-size lots and so I don't know if they clear-cut their lot to the property line or not, but, I assume that we're gonna be doing some significant plantings, that's the way Mr. Marsh builds his subdivisions.
Okay.
Have you been out to Hunter Rise, what are the name?
Hidden Cove.
Hidden Cove,
Yeah.
Crocker Rise? I mean, plantings there are very, I think, very well done.
Okay, yes.
My name is Lee Ames. I'm on a butter across the street, across 39. And my question is, they keep saying that they do significant plantings. Why couldn't they just leave some of the old growth trees that are there on these lines versus they're cutting everything? They're already there. Why would you cut them down and plant something small versus having a tree that's been there for 5,200 years?
If I can answer that, it's one of the reasons we went with the grid subdivision, because there are larger lots. We don't have to develop as much of the lot as, say, a cluster subdivision lot, which would have been half this size. So there probably will be.
So you're saying you're gonna leave some of the
I
old
can't
growth
claim,
trees that are there?
yeah, I can't
We're not
claim.
making any, we're not making any,
Lots?
we're not making any commitments that we're leaving trees.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, these are pine trees that are about 75 years old. I mean, this place has been overcut many times since the founding of Harwich.
So, go
What
ahead,
did, what
Joe.
did you say your name was, ma'am?
My name is Lee Ames. I'm a
Okay.
butter
I-
across 39.
I'm only interested just so I can see where your house is.
It's 1553.
I see it.
Williams Road.
Lily Lane, right next to Lily Lane.
I'm across from Deb, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions from the board? Any other comments? Hearing none.
Ready to go?
Do we close the public hearing now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
And before Joe goes, if I might, I would actually acquiesce to Attorney Riley, he'll probably never ever hear me say that again, that you probably don't need to add the 4 additional lots being held. I mean, all the lots are gonna be held under covenant, there's no question about that. So, putting in added language, I don't think is gonna be necessary. The Board of Health conditions are gonna have to be put right onto the definitive plan.
that'll
The
solve that.
decision has to be recorded, so, I'm good.
Okay.
Move to adopt the following findings of fact.
Do you wanna close the public
Oops,
hearing?
I thought he did.
You want to close the public?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's carried unanimously.
Move to adopt the following findings of fact. 1, said subdivision for single-family homes or 2-family by special permit is a permitted use in the underlying RR and the Water Resource District. 2, said subdivision does not adversely affect the neighborhood. 3, all lots demonstrate compliance with minimum dimensional requirements for frontage area and shape. 4, Board of Health requirements will be met. 5, proposed road construction satisfy all requirements, including the grade of the road pursuant to 400-12 through 14, 400 Appendix 1, the rational method of drainage design, and Appendix 2 tables 1 through 4, and 6, that we incorporate by reference the May 22nd Certificate of Conformance by the Board of Health. I'm not sure we have to do that, but I think we probably should because of some of the issues that have come up in the hearing.
Okay. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, we're not done yet.
Yeah,
done yet.
that's just,
Findings of
Move to
fact.
approve with conditions the application for an 8-lot definitive subdivision for Eastwood Home Business Trust, Eastwood MBT LLC trustees, care of Eastwood Companies, based on the foregoing findings and the fact that the application and plans meet the necessary requirements and criteria for approval pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich for the definitive subdivision plan entitled Bascomb Hollow Subdivision, prepared for Eastwood Homes Business Trust, prepared by Clark Engineering LLC and Terry A. Warner PLS. Definitive subdivision plan dated 4/10/2018, revised 5/9/2018, scale 1 to 60, sheet 1. The following conditions are imposed and required to be submitted prior to the endorsement of the plan and covenant. 1, the Board of Health conditions shall be noted on the definitive plan, sheet 1. 2, the road shall be known as Bascomb Hollow. 3, a standard planning board agreement and covenant shall be fully executed and recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Are we done now?
Yeah.
Thank you very
you.
much.
You may want to wait so people can.
Yep.
Either way, the fact that
I just took every tree out of my yard last week. Not a single one.
I heard. I bumped into your wife and the newest member of your family at the post office.
How long since we've done a subdivision? It's been a while.
It's been a long time. Yeah, it has, yeah.
Yes, final.
Okay, gentlemen, come right up. The next item on the agenda is the continued meeting of PB 2000, continued from the last meeting because it was not properly advertised by the Cape Cod Times. PB 2018-15, Michael McKean as owner, care of Texiera Construction. Application with waivers. Seeks approval of a use special permit for detached accessory apartment pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich, section 325-51-H and Article 5, use regulations. The proposal seeks to construct a two-bedroom dwelling unit with a two-bay garage. The property is located at 55 Parallel Street, map 40, parcel S1-3 in the RM zoning district. Gentlemen?
Good evening, I'm Michael McKean.
Damien Texera.
Okay, would you like to tell us about it?
It's basically, as you said, a 900 square foot accessory apartment, mother-in-law apartment.
Okay. Having said that, any questions? David?
I noticed that the area of this is 31 feet by 31 feet, which was 961 square feet.
When I originally inquired about this, designing this, I was told it was the actual square footage of the living area, which is 2x6 construction, half-inch drywall, which will give 900 square feet of the living area.
Squeezed everything you could out of it, didn't you?
Trying to, just for this woman right here.
61 feet of 2x8?
You asked me to describe what we're doing.
We'll make it an inch smaller just to make sure.
Yeah, it's 5 5/8. No, never.
3/4.
But basically,
Do we have any other math majors in the room?
basically, we'd like to build this for my mother-in-law, who lost her husband last year, so we're trying to take care of family, and Damien's our builder.
Okay.
Currently a blank. I mean, it's currently not built to a plan.
No, sir.
Just started construction on the main house.
I thought so. I live right down the street.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Joseph.
Hi, neighbor.
We also have a Joseph.
Okay, any other questions?
Do you want my?
Yes, that would be a good idea. You've got some comments?
Not very many, actually. Building department, a building permit will be required. He did note that the septic system was not shown on the plan, so when you do submit your building permit application, that will need to be shown. Police had no concern. Conservation had no concern. Health department, septic system was designed for a total of 7 bedrooms, 7 proposed and 3 future. Septic system was designed for a single-family home, not for use by multifamily. Although the leaching capacity is sufficient, Title V requires that a 2-compartment septic tank or 2 tanks in series be used when serving anything other than a single-family home. Septic plan must be modified to reflect the use of a 2-compartment septic tank or 2 tanks in series in order to be used by 2 separate dwellings. Engineering had no concern. Note, if granted, an additional street number will be needed. I have reviewed the application. It does appear to meet all the requirements for the board to issue a special permit if you see fit. It would be my recommendation that along with traditional conditions, a condition regarding the Board of Health comments be included, and staff recommends approval of the waivers requested. And what the waivers are, the accessory apartments fall under commercial site plan review as well, so they're requesting waivers from all of that. We're working to change that so we don't have to do that anymore.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the general public? Step right up.
My name is Catherine Cole.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah, you're near front, so you can stand up and tell us.
My name is Catherine McKean, and did you say that there would be another number, so there'd be 2 house numbers for us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So she'd have her own and her own
Yes.
mail and her
You'd still
own-
have one parcel, but
Okay.
you would be, you know,
Could we do an A and B? 55 Parallel Street,
you would
A
have
and
to
B?
ask the, when
Post
they
office.
set the, no, it's got nothing to do with the post office.
Oh.
It's for an E911. So, sometimes they do like a separate number. You know, your number, I forget what number.
55.
55, she may be 57,
Okay.
or 53, depending upon which way the house is and the numbers go.
Okay,
Fair enough.
thank you.
Okay?
I'm Sarah Welch, and I'm your abutter in the back.
Oh, okay.
On Cicero Road. And it's, you know, we're close. What I'm curious about is how it's gonna sit on the property and how it's gonna affect, because as it is with all the trees you down, our privacy's really shot. And if you do this in a way that her apartment faces our property, we've lost all of it. So,
You want to take a look at the plan, ma'am?
no, we're on
Oh, she does
Sisson.
a
She has a copy
We've
of
got, we've got probably the biggest, frontage, I mean, the amount of feet abutting. So my concern is mostly how, because you also said a little higher than us, it sits right over our backyard. If there's windows on the back of that, how it sits on the property.
You're welcome to look at the plan if you want.
That'll help.
We can have this.
Yeah.
The houses are gonna be facing each other, the main house, and they're gonna be facing into the middle of the yard. They're gonna be looking at each other.
So whoever cooks, you have to walk across the street with it?
Yeah, she's cooking something better with
She
no
better
one
have
in it.
nice bushes on her yard.
Of course, we'll invite Joseph.
Oh, I see, this is way over here, no, not here.
So you're gonna be over here?
Yeah, right.
You're actually over here.
Yeah, we're, I think we're,
So
is
she's
this
gonna-
is parallel?
she's gonna be here.
It's amazing, literally walk out.
You getting all this?
Okay, you're over, yeah, this is all, yeah, no, right, yes.
Yep, okay, so I brought it from here already. So that little,
Have you figured, if you can come up here, you can point to us your concerns?
Okay.
Because,
And actually, she's made it pretty clear, though.
yeah,
My-
excuse
what I
me,
was-
we need to make sure that this
Sorry.
discussion is on the record.
Okay, sorry. I hadn't seen this, so this was my.
Wait, 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 wait,
Wait,
wait,
wait.
wait, wait, no, sorry,
Sidebars. Don't
yeah,
Sorry, what do you, what do you want?
yeah.
Okay. What I was asking about.
Sarah, you go.
Because this is our property line.
Okay.
We're on Sisson Road, and we go from their corner, actually a little farther over, all the way over to the school. And because so many trees have come down, which would have to, obviously, we can put both of those over there. I was worried that this is too close, because our property is a little lower. And as it is, we've lost the screen to parallel, and a lot of this privacy. But she's saying there's gonna be 30 feet off the property line before they build that.
Mhm.
Which should, if you're gonna leave like
You want-
bushes and trees and some woods
Everything
up
up there
there,
is staying.
it should still give us more plenty of privacy. That's really my
Okay.
biggest concern.
Okay, does that answers your question? Ma'am?
I'm sorry, what?
That answers your question?
Yeah, that covers, thank you.
Okay. Now, did you have a question too? Or are you just rooting through?
I'm just rooting through.
Okay.
No question.
Do you want to be heard?
No.
Okay.
Can I ask just one more thing? You're saying it's for your mother, is that
Okay.
going into the future?
Okay. What?
That it won't, that it, okay, that's, I can't. Okay,
ma'am?
that's all I wanted to know, thank you. I was asking about the rental, is that gonna be a
That's got
rental?
nothing to do with this. I'm not trying to be,
Okay,
it's not part of the public hearing because we're talking about that, okay? Whoever the rental is, doesn't make any difference. No, not to us. But, any other questions? Yes.
we were told on our property that to have a rentable apartment, we needed 100 feet of frontage for every house that was going to be on the property. We couldn't put any kind of apartment because of that. So what I'm saying is if it's gonna be family, I'm not gonna be a jerk about it. But if you're saying there's nothing to stop them from renting that to whoever they want to in a year, that does affect, I mean, it's totally different zoning for, and rules for a rentable apartment and an in-law apartment, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Joe?
Move to close the public hearing?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Vote to adopt the following waiver. Motion to approve the waivers pursuant to 400-6 of any and all commercial or residential requirements of the bylaw that are not applicable to this petition.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Opposed? None. Carried.
Motion to approve the findings of fact as follows. 1, the parcel is in the R-M zoning district. 2, the apartment unit is restricted to 900 square feet. 3, it is the owner's intent to continue to reside and occupy the main dwelling on the property. 4, minimum requirements have been met for setbacks, area, and bulk. 5, the driveway and garage will provide sufficient off-street parking which meets the minimum requirements. 6, the application as submitted does not adversely affect local traffic or create traffic hazards. 325-51H2.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to approve with conditions and waivers the use special permit for PB 2018-15 Michael McKean for a detached two-bedroom accessory apartment with a two-bay garage pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich, 325-51H, and Article 5, use regulations for a property located at 55 Parallel Street, map 40, parcel S1-3 in the R-M zoning district. The approval is based on the fact that the application meets the necessary requirements and criteria for approval pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich with the above findings and the following conditions. 1, the owner shall maintain occupancy in one of the units as required by town code. 2, the applicant shall comply with all Board of Health requirements. 3, the special permit decision shall be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. 4, any changes to the plan shall be subject to further planning review.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes.
I would just point out that what we just voted, that the owner has to maintain occupancy in one of the two units. In other words,
Yes.
they can't rent them both out, is what.
Correct.
Which was a question I think that came up.
And I think that is recorded with the deed, too.
Okay.
That's it.
Our next
Thank you.
applicant is outside.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Generally tend to err with the people there, but you're right, there are two of them carry theirs and wandering off to Hell's Half Acre.
Right, because we need to make sure that every discussion is on the record. And when you have two or three discussions going on at the same time, in between people in the audience, then we can't be assured that it's getting on the record.
I mean, I wanted to tell her that, she could do the same thing. There's no protection from one to the other end, but that's not my place to tell her. And I think it's a good bylaw, I really do. If they're using it effectively.
Yeah, no, I think that.
Gentlemen, step right up. Next item on the agenda is a continued hearing from last week, May 22nd, PB 2018-16. Glen Coffin, Emergency Medical Teaching Services, Inc., as the applicant. The application seeks approval of a use special permit and a waiver of site plan for a for-profit educational use pursuant to the Code of Town of Harwich, Section 325-51H, and Article 5 use regulations. The property is located at 706 Main Street, Unit A, Map 41, Parcel B3, and in the CV zoning district, and commonly known as the Pilgrim Lounge. I noticed you have out on your shirt. Identify yourself and tell us about it.
Go ahead.
My name is Glen Coffin, and I'm the program director and vice president of the corporation. My wife is the president of the corporation. We provide EMT and paramedic training programs throughout several different areas in Massachusetts. Our primary corporate office is located in Pembroke, previous to which it was located in Dennis, Massachusetts, up until just recently, actually presently, up until the end of next month, we offer the paramedic and EMT training programs at Cape Cod Community College. Cape Cod Community College has elected to no longer provide that sort of education, so we would like very much to provide that education to the fire and EMS community in Barnstable County.
hence the reason why we'd like to locate here in Harwich. It's right in the center of the Cape, and it's a very favorable location for us.
Okay. Charlene?
Yes, sir. Okay, building department, new certificate of occupancy may be required. Different types of uses require different types of review and everything under the building code. Police department has no concern, fire department has no concern. Health department, a Title V inspection for change of use from retail to educational will be required. As far as my comments, for the purposes of the floor area, the difference between the former retail space, it used to be the liquor store, and that goes back a little bit, and the proposed educational use, approximately 30 students in terms of parking requirements, is negligible. It is my recommendation that building and health comments be included as conditions. Any signage would have to be reviewed and approved by the Historic District and Historical Commission. The existing parking at the rear of the building and the parking that is provided along Main Street provide adequate parking for the proposed use. In addition, although we are more than 300 feet away, which is the standard under the zoning, certainly there is adequate overflow parking here at Town Hall. It's not that far of a walk. And also the proposed use does not change the relationship of the structure to the site itself. And just for the board's information, next door where Snow's was is now a retail space. So it's nice.
O-D-I-L-E.
Oh, O'Deal's?
Yeah.
So it is nice, or O'Dell's, O'Deal. So it is nice to see the village coming back alive.
Okay. Any members of the board, any comments? Jim?
Okay, well, my first comment is I think that this is an excellent use of that facility and a use that I think would be very compatible with our intent to try to bring back the village of Harwich. My only concern, even though, Charlene has, done an evaluation with regard to the adequacy of parking, since you have 20 parking spaces on property and 30 students plus staff, do you people see that there would be any issues with parking?
I don't believe that there would be.
No, the Masons meet there the first Thursday every month, and there's more than 30 people that meet there, so, and we manage to get everybody in there, no problem.
Will most of your classes be during the evenings, or?
That's
Because,
correct.
yeah, because there is, as Charlene pointed out, this parking lot behind Town Hall, which is a public parking lot, which, even on nights where there are meetings, there's excess capacity.
Our plan would be to meet on the evenings that the Masonic Lodge was not meeting, so we wouldn't conflict with them at all.
Okay. Okay, that was my only question.
And there'd be additional parking on the street, correct, Charlene? Because the restaurant isn't open at night.
The only one, Red's is open, they do have some parking. There's also parking down behind Ruggies.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Joe?
Are you folks gonna own this building?
No.
You're gonna be a tenant?
Yes.
The Masons own the building.
I thought so, that's why I was a little confused. And as you look at the building, you're not only going to take over the area where O-D-I-L-E.
No, O'Deal's
No.
is there.
They'll stay.
That's staying. It's
Oh, you're
only
gonna
this,
take the
it's the
building to the
smaller
left,
to the
space.
left.
Where the liquor store was?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, if you look at the floor plan, Joe.
I am, but I thought that
So
Unit A
O'Deal's
was
is
the
in
liquor
B,
store.
and that's where they're going, is where the liquor store was. So
I
they'll
got
be
you.
in Unit A, O'Deal's is in Unit B.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody in the audience have any comments? Step right up. No? Okay. Hearing no comments, I accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. We'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to adopt the following findings of fact. 1, the parcel is in the C-V zoning district. 2, the first floor of the property has been used as a commercial space for many years, and therefore, for for-profit educational use is in keeping with the neighborhood. 3, the parking provided at the rear of the property and the available street parking are adequate for the intended use. 4, the application is submitted does not adversely affect local traffic or create traffic hazards.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to approve the waiver of site plan for PB 2018-16, Glen Coffin Emergency Medical Teaching Services, Inc., as applicant to allow for the for-profit educational use at the property located at 706 Main Street, Unit A, map 41, parcel B3, in the CV zoning district, and commonly known as the Pilgrim Lodge, based on the above findings of fact.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? Oh, David.
No.
Oh,
I'm
all in
voting.
favor? David seconded.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Move to approve with conditions and waivers the use special permit for PB 2018-16, Glen Coffin Emergency Medial Teaching Services, Inc., as applicant. The application seeks approval of a use special permit and a waiver of site plan for a for-profit educational use pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, 32551, and Article 5 Use Regulations. The property location is at 706 Main Street, Unit A, map 41, parcel B3, in the CV zoning district, and commonly known as the Pilgrim Lodge. The approval is based on the fact that the application meets the necessary requirements and criteria for approval pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich with the above findings and following conditions. 1, the applicant shall comply with all Board of Health requirements. 2, the applicant shall comply with all building department requirements. 3, the special permit decision shall be recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That is carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you.
Little history for you, for whatever it's worth. A townie friend of mine tells me that when they had the building, as you face it to the left where the monument is now, and they had to tear it down, it was so solidly put together that they had to hoist a bulldozer up on the second floor to knock down the various parts of it to get it down.
I remember that as a kid.
Do you really?
I
Yeah.
do. Todd Lee was up there with his bulldozer, Fred Crow had his crane.
On the floor.
Building like these.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Remember that
Thank
part of
you.
the history. Thank you.
And you get out, your wife didn't come to make the presentation?
No, she didn't. She's in New Hampshire tonight, so
Tell her we were looking forward to the
I
presentation.
will pass that on. Thank you very much for the opportunity to
Thank you.
Thank
to all
you.
of
Good luck with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That is a good use for it, too. The next item on the agenda would be new business. Mr. Freitas, PB 2018-19. Robert Freitas, owner, seeks endorsement of a 6-lot, approval not required plan, A&R, pursuant to the Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81P, and Section 400-8 and 9. The property is shown as 153 Hawks Nest Road, also known as Seth Whitfield, map 95, parcel B17-6, 155 Hawks Nest Road, a.k.a. Seth Whitfield, map 95, parcel B16-1, 2 Raptor Road, map 95, parcel B16-3, 3 Raptor Road, map 95, parcel B16-14, 6 Raptor Road, map 96, parcel B16-5, and 10 Raptor Road, map 96, parcel B16-2. The parcels are within the RR, W-R, and 6 Pond Special District zoning districts. And having spit that out, go right ahead and explain it to us.
If I might, the letter that I handed you is from the Board of Health. This is an approval not required plan. The board cannot condition approval not required plans. However, we wanted to make sure that the Freitas's understood that they still needed to comply with this requirement under the Board of Health. So that's why you all got it, so you're aware of it. The Freitas's have that, so they'll have to comply with that requirement. But it's more for informational purposes only and not, and can't be part of your deliberation at all, but they needed to know it.
We can't incorporate it by reference into our,
No, you cannot, not for
Program.
an approval not required plan, no.
They're so much fun, Mr. Freitas.
What's that? Well, there it is.
what do you want to do?
Get a vote of yes.
Oh, well, that brings it right down
For
to
6
basics,
lots.
doesn't it?
Yeah. It's almost the same as I did it before. I was missing a tiny strip of land that fronted on Hawk's Nest, so I'm basically re-subdividing a portion of a subdivision I did before. So if it looks familiar, it's pretty similar to the old one, except I had one lot that was like 5 or 6 acres that went almost to Hawk's Nest Road, but not quite, and that's basically what is shown there.
What kind of shape is that road in? If I might?
Good.
I mean, it seems to me you were in before us once before.
Yeah.
And the road looked awful tough to me on some pictures that we saw at that time.
Yeah.
Have you improved that at all?
I widened it all the way to Round Cove. I'm
Okay.
gonna try and get the town to fix Round Cove, because I don't know why they don't, but, I mean, there's been 2 fires out there, and you can't tell me that where the fire station is, if you went down Round Cove, it would be a hell of a lot faster than trying to go all the way around the rotary, up Hawk's Nest, and then into the woods. And a ton of people have fires at Hawk's Nest Pond. And again, I don't know if they've had any forest fires because of that, but it could happen, because a lot of people have fires there.
Or an emergency.
Or if someone drowns at Hawk's Nest Pond, that gets a lot of use. And I would like it just so not all the traffic goes down Hawk's Nest. At least it would hopefully divide it up 50-50, so a lot of people would go down.
What's the distance
Cove.
from the length of Hawks Nest Road to get to the pond?
Well, actually, let's see, it's about,
Quarter mile to our house.
it's about a half, a little more, like 3/4, I'd say 3/4 a mile. Is a close guess.
Thank you.
I know it's a quarter mile to my house,
To get to Round Cove.
and I did
It was probably a
a
mile.
little more than a quarter mile more to get to there, and then the pond is another distance.
Jim?
Okay, I'm sorry, I guess I didn't completely understand your answer to Joe's question as to what you did to the road to improve it.
It's widened from where I stopped before to Round Cove Road.
You've widened it, but what is the surface of the road?
It's dirt.
It's
Most
just
of it's
dirt.
dirt.
And is it in good condition? I mean, can you,
Yeah,
Any vehicle can go down.
any vehicle can go
Yeah.
down there?
they can't go past there, but they can go down.
Okay, well, that's fine. I haven't tried it yet. My
You can
car's-
go all the way down to Hawks Nest Pond now.
Okay, my car is fairly low to the ground, so.
Drive all the way down to
We'll go with my car, right?
Yeah,
We'll
you-
go with Larry's
They
car.
flattened they filled up some of the big holes on
Okay.
the road that goes to the pond. The
Okay.
town did that.
But, yeah, Bob had nothing to do with it.
Okay,
Uh.
and this Rapture Road, that's an existing roadway?
Yeah,
And was that a roadway that you also repaired?
I put it in.
You put it in, so it's.
Probably, I don't even know how long ago now, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
And is it in decent, passable condition?
Yeah.
Very nice.
For
yeah.
even
Yeah.
my low?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a nice road.
Is it a nice road?
Yeah.
Like I said, I get nervous when I go off paved roads with my car. So I guess that was my only real question, except sort of a question maybe to Charlene. Charlene, there's 2 things that the dogleg lot 3, is that within the zoning regulations with regard to the length?
It is.
Okay, that was, because it looked fairly long and I just couldn't remember what the regulation
The
was.
town engineer did look at this plan.
Okay.
And there were a number of items, which we got to these folks early, so they were able to adjust the plan.
Okay.
And his only comment at this point
Excuse me.
is, it's assumed the road layout has not changed, the A&R. The math along several of the property lines is hard to follow. He was able to follow it, but he was able to do that. But the engineering and town survey have looked at this, and nothing pops out at them that it does not comply with the minimum requirements for an A&R.
Joe?
Just, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask. As to Lot 3, in other words, Lot 3 is all the way out to Hawk's Nest.
Yep.
And that driveway entrance, I can't call it anything else.
It
That
is.
driveway entrance is part of Lot 3.
It is, and it has that weird shape because the only problem with, it's technically not a panhandle lot because you have to have 200 feet of frontage. It has 200 feet of frontage. At, I forget, is it 3/4 of the way in? It has to have 80%. So at 3/4 of the way in, we'll say it's 175 feet. That's why it tapers in. And the problem with that area has 100,000 zoning, so it's almost impossible to make a panhandle lot that's not gonna have a really long lot, even if it was a panhandle lot, just because the lots are so big. If you can,
That's why all these lots are over 100,000.
that's why, yeah.
That's gonna be my
And,
next
and to answer his question, it is long,
Yeah.
but it's
it's in
not
the
actually a panhandle lot.
We could call this a funnel lot, though, couldn't we?
Yeah, it takes it, that driveway is 1.5 acres, I think, if it's written on it, just to give you an idea.
But they could also put a shed down towards the road, I mean.
Yeah, you could put a shed down toward the road.
It wouldn't be very
But that-
convenient, but you could put.
Yeah, and that's because of the 100,000, no
A
matter
fruit
how you
stand
drew
or
a
something,
panhandle
vegetable
lot, it would
stand.
always be longer than the minimum requirements.
And so,
Go.
and so your plan is to either develop these or sell them off and have people build on them?
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're not going to clear cut them, are you?
no. No,
Can't.
actually,
No.
actually, you can't clear more than, I forget, 50% anyway.
Yeah, under the Six Pond Special
Oh,
District.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I can't remember if it's 50, but it's something like that.
You won't even know you have a neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
You live
Alan?
on any of these?
What's that?
Are
Not
any of
yet.
you- Not yet, not yet?
And we live down Hawk's Nest,
About a
about
quarter mile
halfway
away.
between Queen Anne and,
That's just-
Okay. Raptor Road. How'd you pick that name? Just
Well, because in my theory, it went Hawk's Nest to Raptor Road. And a raptor, is a hawk, and sounded like a good name. I wanted to get a cross sign, but even though I pay for the sign, the town's like, no, we don't do cross signs. I'm like, well, it would look good. It would be Hawk's Nest to Raptor. And it would make a little more sense if it had a cross sign, but I was denied. I'm going to ask again at some point.
hearing no other questions. Joe?
A move to close the public hearing?
It's not a public hearing.
Not a public hearing. Okay?
Any questions from the public?
Do you have any questions?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's it is a public meeting.
Yeah.
Vote to adopt that the plan does not constitute a subdivision as the way shown on a plan, a public way/town road, provides safe and adequate access.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
Motion to endorse the A&R plan entitled Plan of Land in Harwich, Massachusetts, prepared for Robert D. Freitas Jr., prepared by Richard J. Hood, PLS, dated 3 May 18, scale 1 to 50.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. And we need a special pen.
We need the special pen. And I'm not gonna unroll this all the way to hopefully make it easier for you guys to sign it.
We like them all unrolled so we can see what we're
And be
signing.
mindful of the microphones. There is the special
This is
pen.
black.
Nope, not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
trust I get too many.
And I'm also going to pass along 2 paper copies if you would sign these 2, please. Doesn't matter what pen. And actually, while you're signing, can I talk? Like I've never.
When has that ever stopped you?
What's that about? So your next meeting is June 12th. You have absolutely nothing on the agenda.
June 24th it is.
So the next meeting after that is June 26th, which will be a very, very heavy agenda. But you won't have a meeting on June 12th.
So take a nap on June 12th so you can rest up.
A lot of pressure to name a
No,
road.
Ben. No.
The what?
Naming a road.
Name a road.
We'll send you to
A
Florida.
lot of arguments.
So what do you guys think about Raptor Road? You think it's a good name?
Sure.
Good as any.
Trail Road, too.
I thought about that.
There might be.
I was kind of rooting for Screaming Eagle.
That's not bad.
My road is called Joanne Way.
Okay.
I come in for a planning, before I was on the planning board, I should quickly add, and for a hearing, and the chairman of the then planning board said, fine, you don't have any idea for names, we're gonna name it. So they named it,
Oh, they named it?
Yeah. after myself and my wife.
And it's not as easy as you'd think. I had to sit down and name the roads in a quarter section of land, which is 160 acres of 66,000 square foot lots. Did that in Winnipeg. You know how I did it? I used the Chatham road map. They'll never know, but somebody's gonna.
So it's all the same road. I guess that's why you get a lot of parts of towns that
I
are
named
like
all my kids.
numbers.
I used all my kids' names up too. That went by pretty quick.
How many names?
How many names?
Yeah, in
Probably
Winnipeg,
150.
Shore Road.
Nice bottle of Bordeaux did
Yeah,
it toward the
Ridgeville
end.
Road is called Ridgeville Road because you stole it from Chatham. Literally, the sign.
Was the beach name first or the road?
I don't know.
Well,
And you're still being recorded, so, just so you know.
nobody in Winnipeg heard it.
So no meeting June 12th?
No meeting June
I'm looking
12th.
at-
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And because the 26th is going to be a heavy agenda, I will try and get that out to you guys as early as possible,
Thank you.
because there will be a lot to look at.
You said
Me-
26th?
Move the meeting be adjourned.
Whatever that Tuesday is.
I take it there's no old business, there's no reports? We'll take that. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.